Tak. Okay. Testing. Okay, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, everyone. How are you guys doing? Good? Sorry for starting a little bit late. Ada hal kejap tadi, so start lambat sikit. Alhamdulillah. Oh, lupa, just in case you guys miss me. Hi. Sabar je lah. Okay, so let's start with the lecture then. Okay, so this is still in trigonometric function, but today we are going to start with 7.3 solution of trigonometric equation. So we're going to try to find the solution for a linear equation, a linear trigonometric equation, and then a quadratic trigonometric equation, as well as when we are going to use the t substitution. That means we have a mixture between sine and cos. So we have sine plus with cos. Okay, so without further ado, let's start straight away. Okay, so now start. Okay, so at the end of the lesson, you should be able to solve equation. So this is something called the linear equation, linear trigonometric equation, such as sine theta equal to k, cos theta equal to k, and tangent theta equal to k. So we have some constant on the right hand side, and then we simply want to find out what is the value of theta. And then the second one, solve the equation in trigonometric form. In quadratic form. So solve the equation in quadratic form. So that means we have everything in terms of sine square, cos square, tangent square, or perhaps secant square, cosecant square, cotangent square. And then we want to solve them. What we are going to do, we are going to factorize them. Once we factorize, we're going to solve them just like what we did in part A. So basically that is why we need to learn A first. And then C, express sine theta, cos theta, and tangent theta in terms of t. And then solve A sine theta plus minus B cos theta equal to C, where t is equal to tangent theta over 2. So this t over here, the same as this one because t is actually tangent theta over 2. So we're going to express the sine theta, cos theta, and tangent theta in terms of t. So change everything in terms of t first. And then we're going to solve to find out what is the value of t before we substitute back inside here. So for this, we actually have two methods. The first one, we use t equal to tangent theta over 2. Another one is what we are going to learn in lecture 4. So we are going to leave them as a mystery thing first. Okay, next. Solve the equation such as sine theta equal to k, cos theta equal to k, and tangent theta equal to k. Right, so basically you have to take note of one thing. Sine theta should be in between -1 and 1. So why is that? If you draw the graph for the sine theta, so the highest point will be 1 and the lowest point will be -1. So that means let's say you have sine theta equal to 2. So that means you are not going to find out what is the value of theta because sine theta should be in between -1 and 1. So you cannot find out what is the value of this theta. So that's the reason why we have to know about this thing. The same thing will happen with cos theta. So if you draw the graph for the cos theta, so the maximum will be 1, the minimum will be -1 as well. So that means if you do have cos theta equal to 2, that means you are not going to end up with any solution. So kalau kata kita dapat cos theta equal to -2, there will be no solution. So same thing happen over here. Actually, sin theta equal to 2, you are not going to get any solution. Okay, next. So solving the angle for each quadrant, so you need to remember those 4 quadrants. So this is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. And then do you guys remember how to calculate the angle for each quadrant? So just in case you didn't remember how to find out the angle, so normally we have to calculate what is the basic angle or the principal angle. So those will be in the first quadrant where we're going to call them as alpha. So alpha is actually our basic angle or the principal angle. And then what happened in the second quadrant is that we're going to take 180 degree minus with alpha, or this one is actually in degree. So if you do want to write your answer in radian, you should use pi minus with alpha. So extra careful. Either do you want to use degree or do you want to use radian? So do read the question first, read the question and check did the question ask for something in degree or something in radian. If in degree, then you change the mode to degree. If they ask for something in radian, do make sure to change the mode to radian. Okay, so that is for the second quadrant. So 180 minus with the basic angle or pi minus with the basic angle. The third quadrant, we got to do a plus. So 180 plus with alpha or pi plus with alpha. In the fourth quadrant, we are going to get 360 minus with alpha or 2 pi minus with alpha. Okay, so have you remember them? Or perhaps you should take note a little bit. So this one is theta equal to alpha. Theta equal to 180 minus alpha. Theta equal to 180 plus alpha. And this is theta equal to 360 minus alpha. So perhaps you should write this down first before we start with the next example or the next exercise. Okay, so I'll give you around 10 seconds for you to write down the note first. So do make sure to write this in your note. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Suddenly I forgot how to count. Tiba-tiba je kat tengah-tengah tu terlupa kejap. Okay, so example 1, solve the following trigonometric equation. So the first one, we have cos of theta equal to half. So theta is in between 0 and 360 degrees. So do make sure to change the mode to degree now. So check, do you have D or do you have R in your calculator? Another one is sine theta equal to the negative of square root of 3 over 2. And theta must be in between 0 and 360 degree. Again, we are looking at degree, not radian. Okay, so now let us try to solve the first one. Okay, so cos of theta is actually equal to half. Okay, so what do is that we need to find out what is the principal angle or the basic angle. So you simply do theta equal to cos of half, and then you are going to get that alpha is equal to 60 degrees. So this is something called the basic angle. So you can call them as the principal. I need to make sure principal angle. Principal ke principal? Tiba-tiba je blur. English kan? Principal. Principal angle. Principal. Oh, salah eja. Tak maaf lah ya. Sabar je lah. Oh, forgot. English. Principal angle. Oh, yang tadi tu kot yang pengetua. Tak apalah, apa-apa je lah. Okay, so once you know what is the P, then we need to check our quadrant. So do you remember A, S, T, C? Okay, so cos of theta is equal to half. So we are looking for somewhere where it can give us a positive if we use a cos. So kita kena tengok lah which quadrant can give us a positive answer if we do a cos. So obviously it should be in the first quadrant and then it should be in the fourth quadrant. So do remember the formula when we are looking at the first and the fourth quadrant. So I give you earlier, the formula, the one with the quadrant. Okay, so the formula is that if we do have them in the first quadrant, then theta is automatically equal to alpha. If we do have them in the fourth quadrant, then theta is equal to 360 minus with alpha. Okay, so simply write down theta. So the first answer will be 60 degrees. So because theta is equal to alpha, simply 60 degree. Another one is 360 minus with alpha. So 360 minus with 60. To simplify them a little bit, 360 minus 60. So that is simply 300. So our answer is theta equal to 600 degree. And another one is 300 degree. And do check that the theta should be between 0 and 360. So betul lah. Ini di antara 0 sampai 360. Okay, so let us start with the next one. So sine theta is equal to the negative of square root of 3 over 2. So firstly, find out your principal angle first. Okay, so this is the principal angle. So this is the P. Okay, so principal angle. Right, so ASTC. ASTC. So now we need to think a little bit which quadrant that if we use a sign, we are going to get some negative number because this one is a negative number. So sign of what can give a negative number? Obviously, in the first quadrant, it will be positive. In the second quadrant, it will be positive as well. So that means we should either look at the third or the fourth quadrant. So simply bring out what is the formula in the third and the fourth quadrant. So in the third quadrant, we are using 180 plus with alpha. In the fourth quadrant, it should be 360 minus with alpha. So that means theta is equal to 180 plus with 60 because the principal angle is 60 or the alpha is 60, the basic angle is 60. Another one is 360 minus with 60. And of course, we should simplify them a little bit. 180 plus 60, 240. 360 minus with 60, so it will be simply 300. And so 240, 300. Done. And again, do check your answer should be within the range. So this is for the range. Okay, so every time you want to solve a trigonometric function, always make sure you follow the sequence. So start with the principal angle or the basic angle called the P, and then check which quadrant they are. So that is a Q. And then do check are they inside the range or not. Okay, so done with that. So let me move to the next question then. Okay, so solve the equation in quadratic form. Okay, so we have 2 sine square theta minus sine theta minus 1 equal to 0. So theta is between 0 and 360. And another one is 3 cotangent square theta plus 5 cosecant theta plus 1 equal to 0, where theta is in between 0 and 2 pi. Okay, so do check what is the unit that we use. So for the first question, the mode of our calculator should be in degree. For the second question, you should change the mode to become radian. So be extra careful sebab nanti answer dia jadi macam pelik sikit lah. If let's say kita macam terlupa, we forgot to change it, then our answer might be slightly weird. Sebab kita boleh nampak kalau degree nombor dia kena besar-besar sikit. Kalau radian kena kecil-kecil je. Okay, next. Right, so in example 2, 2 sine square theta minus sine theta minus 1 is equal to 0. So let us try to factorize them and see what do we have if we factorize 2 sine square theta minus sine theta minus 1. Okay, so in order to factorize a quadratic equation, you have two methods. So either you do the cross method or you can do negative b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac over 2a. So actually either one. Okay, so if let's say it will be quite hard for you to see them, then you might want to substitute sine theta equal to x first before you use your calculator. Up to you. Okay, so I can easily factorize them. So I simply factorize them. So it will become 2 sine theta plus 1 multiply with sine theta minus 1 equal to 0. So kalau tak boleh nak guna formula, nak guna calculator, pastikan let sine theta equal to x and sine square theta will become x square. Then you simply use your calculator. Okay, so 2 sine theta plus 1, sine theta minus 1 equal to 0. So we factorize them completely and then let each of the factor be 0. So we have sine of theta equal to negative half, and then another one will give us sine theta equal to 1. Okay, so that means we should solve, firstly, we should solve the left hand side, and then we should solve the right hand side. And then we will combine our answer together at the end. So we got to solve one by one and then combine our answer. So for quadratic, you will have two linear function, two linear trigonometric function, and then you got to solve them one by one and then combine the answer later on. Okay, so sine of theta equal to negative half. Let us focus on that. So check what is the basic angle and check which quadrant will give us a negative answer. So A, S, T, C. So let me check what is the basic angle first. The basic angle is alpha equal to 30 degrees. So this is the principal angle or the basic angle. And now sine theta is equal to negative. So let us think a little bit which quadrant that if we use a sign, we are going to get some negative number. Okay, so obviously it shouldn't be in the first, it shouldn't be in the second, so it will be either in the third or the fourth. So now, take out what is the formula in the third quadrant and what is the formula for the fourth quadrant. So 180 plus alpha and then 360 minus alpha. So we got those two formula. So this is actually based on the quadrant. Okay, so now let us write down what is for theta. Okay, so why do I write down theta? Because this is theta. So I simply write down theta. Okay, so theta is equal to 180 plus with 30 degrees. So this is for the third quadrant. For the fourth quadrant, it will be 360 minus with 30 degree. And then of course, you should calculate them, simplify them. So we got 210 together with 330. So that is for sine theta equal to negative half. So now we should check another one for sine theta equal to 1. Okay, so another one for sine theta equal to 1. Actually, if you draw the graph for the sine theta, it might be a little bit helpful for you to see which one gonna give you 1. So this is the maximum 1. So this is 0. This is 360. Right in the middle, this is 180. And this one over here, 180 over 2. So this is 90. And this is 270. So in order to get 1, I only have one answer, which means the theta should be equal to 90 degree. Oh, kecil sangat tak nampak. Saya lukis besar sikit. Okay, so this is 0. This is 180. So we do a half cycle at 180. And then the full cycle is at 360. So this one over here, this one is 90. This one is 270. So we got 1. We got negative 1. Okay, so now in order to get sine theta equal to 1, we only have one answer. So theta must be equal to 90 degree. So now let us combine everything together. So since we have all, so kita combine, unite our answer. So that means the theta. So this is the final answer. Don't forget triple dot. Therefore, oops, kita nak bagi lah buat dot. Triple dot. Therefore, the theta is equal to 90 degree, 210, and 330 degree. So that is how we answer A. Okay, so now let us go to B. Okay, so B, we got 3 cotangent square theta plus 5 cosecant theta plus 1 equal to 0, and theta should be between 0 and 2 pi. Okay, so now let us think a little bit. So this is actually in quadratic. So somehow we should be able to factorize them. But this is cotangent and this is cosecant. So I cannot factorize them actually. Dia tak boleh nak factorize lah sebab if let's say I use y equal to cosecant, then this thing is not cosecant, so I cannot factorize them. So that means we should modify this a little bit until we do have something that can be factorized. Okay, so I already give you some brief hint, right? So let me give you around, let's see how many minutes should I give you. Perhaps around 3 minutes for you to think a little bit. What can we do so that we can easily factorize them completely? If you do have any idea, you can easily write them down over there. So I give you 3 minutes for you to think a little bit, and if you are able to see what can you do, then please do until you can factorize them. Try to factorize them. Okay, so I'll give you 3 minutes. So at 9 to 8, we will see our answer. So go. Rasa macam tak clear lah hari ni. Kabur. Okay, so it's already 9:28. How are you guys doing? Do you know what you should do in order to factorize them? Ada dapat clue ke? Macam mana nak factorize? Semua orang? Okay? Tak okay? Okay ke korang ni? What happened? Alright, never mind. I'll give you some hint then. Okay, so basically, if you want to solve them with a quadratic function, obviously you should change everything into quadratic. So the only identity that we have is something with a square. So for example, sine square and cos square. So that means you shouldn't change the cosecant. The only thing that you can change is the cotangent. So do check which Pythagorean identity involving the cotangent as well as the cosecant. So actually, cotangent square plus with 1 is equal to cosecant square. So that means cotangent square is actually cosecant square minus 1. So I can easily change everything into cosecant square. So we have 3 cosecant square theta minus 1 plus 5 cosecant theta plus with 1. Okay, so what happened next is that we're going to multiply the 3 inside. So 3 cosecant square theta minus with 3 plus 5 cosecant theta plus with 1 equal to 0. And then simplify a little bit. So what do we have is 3 cosecant square theta plus 5 secant theta minus 2 equal to 0. And now we want to factorize them. Okay, so factorize them completely. It will give you 3 cosecant theta minus 1 and then cosecant theta plus 2 equal to 0. Okay, so do make sure change everything, change the square into the quadratic. So in this in this case, I'm using cotangent square equal to cosecant square minus with 1. So I change everything in terms of cosecant. So tukar dalam bentuk cosecant semua and then we factorize them completely. So we do have 3 cosecant theta minus 1, cosecant theta plus 2 equal to 0. So now let each factor equal to 0. So setiap satu factor equal to 0. So we are going to have cosecant theta equal to 1 over 3 and another one is cosecant theta equal to negative 2. Okay, so basically when we learn linear in the last 15 minutes, I think, so what did we do is we solve for the sine, the cos and the tangent. So we don't have anything with cosecant, so that means we should change them first. So what is cosecant? So 1, 2, 3. So this is S. So that means cosecant is 1 over sine. So change cosecant theta into 1 over sine and then we're going to find out what is sine theta and then we're going to solve for sine theta. Okay, so the first one, cosecant theta is equal to 1 over 3. So change cosecant, cosecant is 1 over sine equal to 1 over 3 and then you simply take the reciprocal or bring the sign up and etc. So you will end up with sine theta equal to 3. Okay, so now we got to think a little bit. If you do remember, and I don't know, is it in the third slide or the fourth slide? I did say something about sine theta. The sine theta should be in between negative 1 and 1. So for sine theta equal to 3, we are not going to have any solution. So since sine theta is in between -1 and 1, sine theta cannot be equal to 3, hence there will be no solution. So no solution for that. Oops. Okay, so no solution for this. So we got to refer to the second one where we have cosecant theta is equal to -2. So again, change cosecant theta is 1 over sine. So 1 over sine theta is equal to -2. So bring the sign up, -2 down. So we have sine theta equal to -1 over 2. Okay, so now we got to solve them. Obviously, you need to find out what is the principal angle first. So find out what is the principal angle, arc sine of 1 over 2. And then you are going to get your principal angle, which is pi over 6. By the way, we are using radian. So do make sure to change the mode to radian. So this is some special angle. So arc sine 1 over 2, which is pi over 6. So this is the principal angle. And then check which quadrant such that when you substitute the value of theta, it will give you a negative answer. So A, S, T, C. In order to get a negative for the sign, it should either be in the third or the fourth quadrant. So simply write down the formula for the third and the fourth quadrant. So this is the Q based on the quadrant. And then of course, we should write down what is theta. So the first one, theta plus theta is equal to pi plus pi over 6. So that is in the third quadrant. In the fourth quadrant, it will be 2 pi minus with pi over 6. So simplify them a little bit. So pi plus pi over 6. So 6 pi over 6 plus with pi over 6. So 7 pi over 6. And then 12, 12 pi over 6. So 12 pi over 6 minus with pi over 6. So 11 pi over 6. So that is our final answer. So we only have two solutions for this. Okay, next. Okay, so express sine theta, cos theta, and tangent theta in terms of t. Okay, so we're gonna use t substitution. So let t equal to tangent theta over 2. So using the half angle formula, the one that we learned yesterday. So we learned about half angle formula yesterday. So tangent theta is actually 2 tangent theta over 2 over 1 minus tangent square theta over 2. So you simply replace t equal to tangent theta over 2. So every time you see tangent theta over 2, replace them with t. And then for this one, this is actually tangent theta over 2 with a square. So that means simply replace them with t with a square. So that means tangent theta is actually equal to 2t over 1 minus t square. So now we want to know what is the value of sine theta and cos theta in terms of t. Okay, so let us draw the right angle triangle. Okay, so basically this is theta, and then we're going to use what do we know before this, where we have tangent theta equal to 2t over 1 minus t square. So tangent theta is equal to 2t over 1 minus t square. So if you refer to so that is how we know that the opposite should be 2t. The adjacent will be 1 minus t squared. So now, in order to calculate the sine and the cos, I need to know what is the value of the hypotenuse. So we need to use the Pythagoras theorem then. So let's say we're going to call them as z. So z square is equal to 1 minus t square plus with 2t square. So the opposite square plus with the adjacent square will become the hypotenuse square. So simplify them a little bit, and then you're going to end up with z equal to 1 plus t square. So that is our h. So let me write this down. So this is H and this is the opposite. This is the adjacent. So AOH. So now let us think a little bit what will happen to the sign. Okay, so from the diagram, sine theta, what is sine? Sine is opposite over with the hypotenuse. So that means sine of theta will become 2t over 1 plus t square. So the opposite over hypotenuse. Meanwhile, for the cos, cos is adjacent over with the hypotenuse. So it will become 1 minus t square over 1 plus t square. So we already write down sine theta in terms of t and cos theta in terms of t. So you might be wondering, where are we going to use these? So let us go to the next example. Okay, so now t, solve. A sine theta plus minus with b cos theta equal to c, where t is equal to tangent theta over 2. So like I told you during our learning outcome, so if we want to solve a sine theta plus minus with b cos theta equal to c, you actually have two methods. The first one is something called as the t substitution, where we let t equal to tangent theta over 2. Another one is what we are going to learn in lecture 4. So if we do you have the time today? No, I don't think so. So next week we're gonna learn how to solve them. Okay, so let us go to example 3 then. So if tangent theta over 2 is equal to t, find sine theta and cos theta in terms of t. Hence solve cos theta plus 7 sine theta equal to 5 for theta in between 0 and 180 degree. Okay, so what do we do first? Okay, so firstly, you need to derive again what is the sine theta and cos theta. So similar to what we have previously. So you will start with the half angle formula. So tangent theta is 2 tangent theta over 2 over 1 minus tangent square theta over 2. So substitute t equal to tangent theta over 2. We are going to end up with 2t over 1 minus t square. And then we're going to draw our right angle triangle and then draw your opposite over adjacent, and then you're going to find out what is your hypotenuse. So hypotenuse is 1 plus t square, and then we're going to calculate what is the sine. So opposite over with the hypotenuse. So sine is 2t over 1 plus t square. Meanwhile, for the cos, that will be so adjacent over with the hypotenuse. So 1 minus t square over 1 plus t square. Do you remember them? So tua. Okay, so done with that. Let us proceed with the next one. So I already changed sine theta in terms of t. So I already changed all the cos theta in terms of t as well. So let us substitute the sine theta and cos theta into the question. So back to the question. The question is cos theta plus 7 sine theta equal to 5. So now we substitute cos theta in terms of t and sine theta in terms of t as well. Okay, so substitute. So we got 1 minus t square over 1 plus t square plus 7. 2t over 1 plus t square equal to 5. So now, what should we do is that we need to solve to find out what is the value of t. Okay, so let us multiply everything with 1 plus t square. So this one times with 1 plus t square, get rid of the denominator, times with 1 plus t square, get rid of the denominator. Over here, times with 1 plus t square. Okay, so what will happen is that we are going to end up with 1 minus t square plus with 14t equal to 5 plus with 5t square. Okay, so simplify left hand side, simplify right hand side. So bring everything to the left hand side because we want to start factorizing our quadratic function. So bring everything to the left. Do make sure you have 0 on the right hand side. So bring everything to the left. You will have 6t square minus with 14t plus before equal to 0. Okay, so do make sure to simplify them. If you do see something that can be factorized, so factorize them first before you divide them, or make sure you have the simplest form before you factorize them. Okay, so I have a 6, I have 14, I have a 4, so I can actually divide everything by 2. So that is what I did over there. So it will become 3t squared minus 7t plus 52 equal to 0. Again, you should check either can you factorize them completely or by using those cross method, or if you cannot use this cross method, then you might want to use negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Baca formula macam baca spell. Okay, so do solve them to calculate what is the value of t. So I already factorized them for you. So we have 3t minus 1, t minus 2 equal to 0. Okay, so now take each factor, let them equal to 0. So 3t minus 1 equal to 0. T is equal to 1 over 3. T minus 2 equal to 0. So that will mean t must be equal to 2. So t equal to 1 over 3 or t must be equal to 2. And then let us think a little bit. What is t actually? Because we start our question with sine theta and cos theta. Why do we have a t? So we actually used a substitution previously where we let t equal to tangent theta over 2. So that means we substitute back. T is equal to tangent theta over 2. So that means either we have tangent theta over 2 equal to 1 over 3 or tangent theta over 2 is actually equal to 2. And then we're going to solve them one by one. Okay, so tangent theta over 2 equal to 1 over 3. So you use your arctangent. So that means, so that is the basic angle and etc. So theta over 2 will be equal to 18.43. Okay, so I need to remind you one thing. Okay, so previously we do have theta. If you refer to the question, so let us go back to the question a little bit. Just in case. Okay, now here. Okay, so theta must be between 0 and 180. And let's go back to here. Okay, so theta is in between 0 and 180 degree. So since this one is tangent theta over 2, we should change the range as well. So instead of having theta in between 0 and 180, we are going to have theta over 2 between 0 and 90. So you might be wondering, how do I get 0 and 90? So we do divide them by 2. So 0 over 2 is 0, theta over 2, theta over 2. 180 over 2 is simply 90. So I do divide everything by 2. Okay, so now if you find out your basic angle, so you are using arctangent of 1 over 3, your basic angle will give you 18.43. So this is the principal angle or the basic angle. Following the quadrant, so A, S, T, C. So in order to get a positive answer for the tangent, it should either be in the first quadrant or it will be in the third quadrant. So that is why you do have two formula over there, the first quadrant and the third quadrant. Okay, so however, for this one, I only accept one answer where I only accept the answer in the first quadrant. So why is that? That is because theta over 2 should be between 0 and 90 degree. So that means I'm looking at the first quadrant. So I don't accept the answer in the third quadrant. Okay, so theta over 2 is 18.43. So that means theta will be equal to 36.86. So this is for the first one. So we got another one where we have tangent theta over 2 equal to 2. So let us go to that one. Okay, so now Tangent theta over 2 is equal to 2. Again, find out the basic angle or the principal angle. So you are using arctangent. So arctangent of 2, you are going to get 63.43. And again, this one ASTC. So in order to get a positive on the right hand side, it should either be in the first or the third quadrant. So this is based on the quadrant. So either in the first or the third quadrant. However, so this is for the range. So theta is in between 0 and 180. So theta over 2 is in between 0 and 90 degree. So I got to make sure that my answer is in the first quadrant. So I should ignore the third quadrant. So that means theta over 2 is equal to alpha, or theta over 2 is equal to 63.43. And then find out the value for theta. So theta is equal to 126.86. So combine the answer together. Our final answer, theta is equal to 36.86 and 126.86. Okay. Okay, so do I still have something else? So I don't have them. So let me do a bit of recap for you because this is a little bit early. So let me do a bit of recap then. Okay, so now you have to solve trigonometric equation, right? So we have three types of equation. Oops. So the first one, we are having something with a linear. The second one, we do have something with a quadratic. The third one, it is actually a mixture between the sine and the cos. So you might have something like A sine theta plus minus B cos theta equal to some constant. Let's say we're going to call them SK. So yang ini mixture lah antara sine dengan cos. But both of them should be something to the power of 1. So sine to the power of 1, cos also to the power of 1. Okay, so for linear, how do we solve them? So basically for sine theta equal to k, cos theta equal to k, tangent theta equal to k. So how do we solve? So you need to calculate first what is the principal angle. So principal angle or the basic angle. So simply do the arc sine, arc cos, arc tangent, and etc. So find out what is the principal angle. Once you know what is the principal angle, do check the quadrant. So which quadrant can give you positive, which quadrant can give you negative. So you need to remember this A, S, T, C. So to choose which quadrant, you need to refer to the value of K. So kena tengok nilai K lah untuk kita tahu mana satu yang kita nak pilih as the quadrant. And then of course the last one, you should be able to check what is your range. Which range are we talking about? Is it somewhere in between 0 and 90, or is it acute angle, or is it obtuse angle, or are we going to calculate from 0 until 360? So we must check everything. So if you do have something with a quadratic, do make sure to factorize them. So factorize, you have two methods to factorize. So you can either use the cross method. So cross ada, ataupun some people might call it as a butterfly method. I don't know why this thing. So yang ni lah factorize. Tapi biasa aku guna calculator kot Okay, so another one is negative b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac over with 2a. So either one. And then of course, once you do the cross method, or either you are using this quadratic formula, you will end up with two linear functions. So you will end up with two linear. How to solve this linear? You got to solve them separately, and again another P, Q and R. So do find out the principal angle, do calculate which quadrant, and do check the range as well. Meanwhile, for A sine theta plus minus with B cos theta equal to K, we actually have two methods. The first one is the T substitution. Another one is what we are going to learn in lecture 4. So let me give you straight away. So for this one, we are either using R cos theta plus minus alpha, or we are using R sine theta plus minus alpha. And then we are going to calculate what is the value of R and what is the value of alpha. So that is our aim actually. Okay, so I think that's it for 7.3. So I already covered the linear function, the quadratic function, and one of the A sine and B cos. So I already covered the substitution. So for the next class, we are going to do the R cos and the R sine. And then we're going to calculate what is the minimum and maximum of the trigonometric function. Okay, so with that, I think I'll see you guys next week. So, see you next week then. Thank you. Enjoy your day. Day ke dah habis pun day, whatever. Bye everyone. Oh, by the way, siapa Haziq? Rasa macam student yang lama kot. Tapi tak ingat. Sekejap. Rasa macam ingat-ingat lupa lah. Siapa lah? Tak apalah, nanti bagi tahu siapa. Okay, bye-bye everyone. Bye. Welcome. Bye-bye. Lupa. Tak off.